G'day, mate. Do you remember the Munsters? Well, I actually like to sort of look and see because how Eddie Munster, because I think everyone else is dead from that show, but this is a little story called The 45-Year-Old Eddie Munster. Now, I actually think it's pretty cool, so let's have a look. With his mum and dad, Lily and Herman, and the grandfather dead, and sister being whisked away off her feet by a handsome stranger, Eddie Munster developed schizophrenia, but instead of telling porkies, he actually told the truth, saying he is a vampire and his family ate vampires, and still Eddie Munster was allowed to work at a funeral parlour at Gordon Smith Retirement Home. And yes, Eddie was happy there. But the site team was really trying to kidnap Eddie and use him for experiments, and he was forced into a life of no wife and no kids, as well as no friends. Oh, what a bummer. Because all this will piss off the psychiatrists. And Eddie went out late at night, and one night he went into this pub, and this man was abusing him, yelling at him and calling him shy and trying to keep him at this pub, never to go home. The drunk took Eddie into the back toilet and tied him to the bowl and started to fuck him up the arse. And Eddie bit him. And then he said, "I am a vampire, and if you don't get your hands off, I can't be held accountable for what I do." And he laughed at Eddie. Ha ha ha. So Eddie transformed into a vampire, and then he bit the drunk on the arm, and the drunk yelled out, "What the fuck?" And then he said, biting is animal behaviour at Eddie Munster, and then he managed to get away trying to tell him that no one can catch Eddie Munster. When Eddie got home, the drunk was there and planned to tie Eddie up and then chop him and then eat him, because his behaviour at the club wasn't human. Eddie said, leave me alone, please. I don't deserve this. No, I don't. Man, and the drunk said, I was your biggest fan back then. But times change, Eddie. You can't change that. No way, Jose. And Eddie said, I am always going to be immortal. You won't ever kill me. The drunk told Eddie, but I can make you suffer, and that is worth something. And Eddie said to him, but I will succeed more in making you suffer, because really I am dead already. I died at the age of 15. My dad killed me, but I had to take up to my vampire blood like a man. So he killed me, and now I am the undead. And then the drunks poked him up and threw Eddie out of the club, saying, "Get out of here, you fucking freak." And that never bothered Eddie, because he needed this day to come. And he said that the story is fun to tell. Eddie was really enjoying seeing the world like this, because he can't be killed. And even if he was thrown out, he would haunt the club, hitting people in the back, tipping people's glasses, and they are drinking from. And he knocked every beer onto the floor of every drunk that was there. And the barman tried to throw him out, but Eddie was a vampire, so he couldn't be thrown out. Yes, Eddie had fun there since then, and better still, he was happy haunting people around the shopping centre as well. When the shoppers who he hates would come in the shop, Eddie will make a noise from the top of their head, which drove them crazy. Eddie was happy. with doing this, but the vampire catcher caught him and sent him back to the Munsters. But Eddie will be back because the undead can do anything. And I really like the Munsters too, and I actually find that as a closure to my mind to show you that Eddie actually really enjoyed haunting the drunks. Sometimes when you do have a few fights in clubs, you do want to do that, but the only time you can do that is through paranormal activity, as I say, because, the world, you've just got to be careful. That's all.